How many yards have you lost in the last 5 years? If the answer is more than 20, this video was made for you. And if you've been told that you just need to practice more or try harder, the people giving you that advice don't understand the biology of what's actually happening to your body. Today, we're going to change that. We're going to look at the real science, the same biomechanical research used by the PGA Tour Champions. And we're going to give you 3 specific fixes. Fixes that will work in your next round, not in 3 months, in your next round. Stay with me. Welcome to the Strategic Swing, the channel where we use real science, PGA Tour Champions data, and Titleist Performance Institute research to help golfers like you play better, smarter, and longer after the age of 55. Every Tuesday and Friday, we publish analysis you won't find anywhere else. No fluff, no generic tips, just science, data, and fixes that actually work for your body. If you're new here, subscribe before this video ends. Now let's get into it. Here's what I want you to think about for a moment. Cast your mind back to how you played 10 years ago. The drives that carried, the irons that flew high and landed soft, the rounds where your body just performed. Now think about this past season. What's different? The drives fall 20, 30 yards shorter. The irons feel heavy. Your back starts complaining by the 12th hole. And the practice sessions, the ones where you hit 300 balls trying to find what you had before they're not working the way they used to. If this sounds familiar, I want you to know something important. This is not weakness, this is not a mental block, this is not something that more practice will fix. What is happening to you is a biological process. It has a clinical name. And, critically, it has specific science-backed solutions. Most golf instructors, even very good ones, don't explain the biology. They see the symptom and prescribe a technical fix. But a technical fix applied to a biological problem is like putting new tires on a car with a faulty engine. It might look better, but it won't perform better. Not until you address what's actually going on inside. Before I give you the solutions, you need to understand why this is happening. Because without understanding the cause, any fix you apply will be temporary. At best, let me show you what is actually happening inside the muscles of a 60-year-old golfer. And I promise you this changes everything. The human body contains 2 fundamental types of muscle fiber, and understanding the difference between them is the key to everything we'll cover today. Type 1 fibers. The slow twitch fibers are your endurance engine. They handle walking the course, keeping your posture upright for 4 hours, staying focused. Type 2 fibers, the fast twitch fibers, are your power engine. Every explosive movement your body makes comes from these. The sprint to the net, the jump, and critically, the downswing in golf. The explosive milliseconds from the top of the backswing to impact. That acceleration is powered entirely by your Type 2 fast twitch muscle fibers. And here is the clinical reality that nobody in golf talks about plainly. After the age of 50, fast twitch muscle fibers begin to shrink, selectively, preferentially at a rate that doubles after 60. A landmark study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, one of the most cited papers in sports gerontology, found something extraordinary. In men over 70 years old, Type 2 muscle fibers can be up to 29% smaller in cross-sectional area compared to men in their 20s. 29%, let that sink in. That's not a fitness problem, that's not a laziness problem, that is a cellular architecture problem. And it has profound consequences for your golf swing.
Let's trace exactly what happens. Your golf swing begins with the ground. Power is generated from the earth up through the feet, into the legs, rotating through the hips, transferring through the thoracic spine. That's your mid-back through the shoulders and arms, and finally accelerating the club head at impact. The Titleist Performance Institute, the world's leading golf biomechanics research center, calls this the kinematic sequence. When every segment fires in the correct order, you get maximum club head speed with minimum effort. This is what efficiency looks like at 68. Now, what happens when the fast twitch fibers that initiate and accelerate each segment in that chain begin to deteriorate? The sequence breaks down, the body compensates, and it compensates in ways that are very predictable. The TPI has cataloged these compensations. They call them swing characteristics, but make no mistake, these are distress signals from a body that has lost the power source it needs. Compensation number 1, the sway and the slide. When the hips can't rotate efficiently because the fast twitch fibers have lost their explosive initiation capacity, the body shifts laterally instead of rotating. The result? Loss of coil, loss of separation between the upper and lower body. The X factor disappears. And with it goes the elastic energy, the stored power that makes efficient golfers hit it further than their strength would seem to allow. Compensation number 2, and this one causes physical damage, early extension. When thoracic rotation is restricted, the body asks the lumbar spine to rotate instead, but here is the problem. The lumbar spine is anatomically designed for flexion and extension. It is not designed for rotation. Any rotation beyond 3 degrees per segment exponentially increases disc injury risk. The TPI data is unambiguous. 28.1% of all golfers suffer lower back pain after playing. And the golf swing is the mechanism, but restricted thoracic mobility is the root cause. This is the pattern. Reduced thoracic rotation. Body compensates with the lumbar spine. The lumbar spine wasn't designed for that. Pain follows. Compensation number 3, and this one directly destroys your distance, the short arc. Research by Dr. Sajo McKenzie and Dr. Phil Cheatham in the Golf Science Journal established something critical. The distance the hands travel, combined with the force applied along that path, explains the majority of the variation in club head speed between players. A shorter arc means less time and distance to accelerate the club head. Less acceleration means less speed. Less speed means less distance. It is pure physics. Now let's put some numbers to this, because this is where I think most golfers truly understand what they're dealing with. The average PGA Tour player, a professional in his peak years, aged 20 to 40, swings the driver at between 115 and 128 miles per hour. The PGA Tour champions, the elite professionals aged 50 to 65, swing between 105 and 113. The average amateur senior, aged 50 to 59, is at 85 to 95 miles per hour. And the advanced senior, 60 to 69, 80 to 90 miles per hour, sometimes less.
Now here is the critical insight that changes how you think about your equipment. Every single piece of standard golf equipment you can buy in a pro shop is engineered for a player swinging above 95 miles per hour. The shaft stiffness, the driver loft, the ball compression rating, all of it, calibrated for someone who is not you. Using equipment calibrated for 115 miles per hour when you're swinging at 82 is like trying to win a Formula One race in a car tuned for a different fuel. The engine might be running, but the performance is being strangled by the wrong configuration. There is one more thing I need to show you before we get to the solutions. And this one is about your angle of attack. When you hit down on the driver with a negative angle of attack, you dramatically increase the backspin on the ball. More backspin means a higher trajectory that falls out of the sky too early. The TrackMan data is unambiguous here. Moving from a negative 2-degree attack angle to a positive 3-degree angle generates up to 15 additional yards of carry distance without adding a single mile per hour to your swing speed. This is the concept of smash factor optimization, getting the maximum out of the speed you already have. And here is where the equipment changes I'm about to show you become game-changing, because they directly optimize your launch conditions for your specific swing speed profile. Let me show you specifically what the science says about driver loft for your speed range. The professionals on the PGA Tour swing between 115 and 128 miles per hour. Their drivers are optimized at 8 to 10.5 degrees of loft. That's what you see at every major on television. Now here is the critical table from TrackMan's optimization database. If your swing speed is between 80 and 95 miles per hour, which is where most senior golfers sit, your optimal driver loft is between 10.5 and 12 degrees. Below 80 miles per hour, 12 to 14 degrees. That is not a beginner's club. That is the aerodynamically optimal configuration for your physics. Here is what the physics tells us. Lower loft at lower swing speeds creates what aerodynamicists call a stall trajectory. The ball doesn't generate sufficient aerodynamic lift to maintain flight. It drops 30, 40 yards before it should. The ground becomes your enemy. But there is more. A higher lofted driver also reduces the severity of your slice. The physics. The higher the loft, the more the spin axis tilts toward the vertical. A more vertical spin axis means the side spin component of any mishit has less influence on the ball's flight path. In practical terms, a 13-degree driver will produce dramatically straighter shots than a 9-degree driver with the same swing error. That is not opinion, that is trigonometry. Now let's talk about the second critical piece of equipment that senior golfers get wrong: the shaft. For decades, steel shafts were considered the benchmark of precision. And for players swinging above 95 miles per hour, they still are. But the early reputation of Graphite, that it was for beginners and women and seniors who couldn't handle a real shaft, that reputation is 30 years out of date. 21st century composite shaft engineering, materials like the Fujikura Axiom with VeloCore technology or the Aerotech steel fiber have eliminated the precision gap while maintaining the mass reduction. Here is what the physics of mass reduction means for your swing speed. A standard steel shaft for irons weighs between 95 and 130 grams. A premium graphite composite shaft weighs between 45 and 70 grams. Every gram you remove from that shaft is a gram your muscles don't have to move and decelerate through the kinematic chain. The result? Studies have demonstrated that a well-fit graphite shaft in the irons can add between 3 and 7 miles per hour of swing speed for senior players, without any change in technique. And critically, there is one more benefit of graphite that nobody talks about: vibration absorption. Now you understand what is happening and why. That's the foundation. Now let's build on it with 3 specific science-backed fixes. These aren't tips. These are system-level changes. And I want to be very specific about how to implement each one. Fix number 1, driver loft optimization. This is the single highest return on investment change you can make today. If you are currently playing a 9 or 10.5 degree driver and your swing speed is below 90 miles per hour, you are leaving 15 to 25 yards on the table every single round. The action step. Check the loft on your current driver. It will be stamped on the hosel or written in the club documentation. What does it say? If it reads 9 degrees or 10.5 degrees and your speed is below 90 miles per hour, you need a new driver. Not because yours is broken, but because it's misconfigured for your physics. I've linked 2 specific drivers in the description: the Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Max at 12 degrees and the TaylorMade QI 10 Max at 12 degrees. Both have AL engineered faces specifically designed for off-center impact forgiveness at lower swing speeds. The AL engineered face is relevant for senior golfers because at lower swing speeds, off-center hits are more frequent. The variable face thickness compensates for the loss of energy at the gear effect points. Fix number 2, shaft transition. And I want to be very specific about which graphite shaft for your speed profile. Shaft flex ratings are standardized, but manufacturers vary. Here is the framework you need. If your driver swing speed is between 75 and 85 miles per hour, you should be in senior flex, also labeled A flex in graphite. Below 75 miles per hour? Ladies flex, also labeled L flex in graphite. And I want to dismantle the stigma around that label right now. The L flex label was never about gender. It was about swing speed. The physics does not care about your ego. It cares about launch angle, transfer efficiency, and kinetic chain optimization. The right shaft flex does 3 things. It maximizes the whip effect at impact, it promotes a higher launch angle, and it reduces vibration transmission to your hands, wrists, and elbows. That last point, vibration reduction, is about more than comfort. It's about longevity. Every impact transmits a vibration wave up the shaft and through your hands, wrists, forearms, and elbows. Steel creates high-amplitude shock waves. Graphite absorbs and dissipates them. The clinical term is repetitive microtraumatology. The repeated high-frequency vibrations cause cumulative microdamage to the tendons and joint capsules of the elbow and wrist. The practical consequence: switching to graphite irons has been clinically shown to reduce impact vibration transmission by up to 40% compared to steel. 40% less stress on every single swing for the rest of your career. For the specific shafts, I've linked 2 in the description. The Fujikura Axiom in senior flex for players at 75 to 85 miles per hour, and the Aerotech steel fiber for players who want the feel profile closer to steel, but with the mass reduction benefits. Now, and this is critical, both of these shaft changes require professional fitting. Not a generic off-the-rack purchase, a fitting. The Club Champion Fitting Network, I've linked the closest location finder in the description, uses launch monitor data to precisely match shaft weight, flex profile, and kick point to your specific swing dynamics. Fix number 3, the width over speed swing adaptation. And this is the one that costs you nothing except a change in mindset. Most senior golfers, trying to compensate for lost distance, make one critical error. They try to force the turn. They try to create rotation through effort and tension. The result? A narrow, steep swing path. The elbows collapse, the arc shrinks. And the over-the-top move, the classic slice pattern, becomes almost inevitable. The biomechanically correct adjustment is counterintuitive. Instead of trying harder to rotate, you focus on width. Width is the distance your hands travel from the ball at address to the top of your backswing. A wider arc gives you more time and distance to accelerate the club head through impact. The TPI calls this the scapular retraction first principle. Before you think about rotating the hips or turning the shoulders, you extend and retract the shoulder blades. By initiating the backswing with a feeling of pushing the right elbow away from the body for a right-handed player, the arc naturally extends. Here is the drill. Take your normal address. Place a golf ball under your right armpit. Now make a backswing without dropping the ball. This drill teaches the body the feeling of connection and width simultaneously. The ball under the arm forces the shoulder turn to take the arm and the club further from the body, widening the arc without requiring additional spinal rotation. The second setup change that directly and immediately helps: the foot position. TPI research shows that flaring the trailing foot, the right foot for right-handed players, outward by approximately 40 to 45 degrees significantly reduces the demand on the hip capsule during the backswing. In practical terms, you allow your right hip to turn behind you in the backswing without forcing the joint past its comfortable range. Combine that with the front foot also flared outward between 30 and 45 degrees, and you now have through-swing hip freedom as well. The left hip can clear completely without restriction. The third specific adjustment, the rear knee. This one is absolutely critical and almost universally done wrong. Many senior golfers, watching tour players on television, see what looks like a straight rear leg at the top of the backswing, and they try to copy it. The problem: straightening the rear knee mechanically deactivates the gluteus maximus. And the gluteus maximus is the primary driver of ground force generation in the downswing. Without it, you lose the foundation of your power source. The fix: maintain a slight flex in the rear knee throughout the backswing. Just enough to keep the glute activated. 10-15 degrees of flex, no more. You'll immediately feel the difference. The backswing becomes more stable, the transition feels more loaded, and the downswing generates from the ground up, the way efficient power is supposed to travel. Now let's put all three fixes together and show you what the complete optimized senior swing looks like. And I want to show you that this doesn't look limited, it looks like mastery. Address: both feet flared, slight knee flex in the rear leg, spine angle neutral, not overly bent. Takeaway: initiate with scapular retraction. Push the right elbow away from the body. The arc naturally extends without demanding lumbar rotation. Top of backswing: the arc is wide. The rear knee maintains its flex. The thorax has rotated what it can, not what television tells you it should. Transition: the hips begin to unwind, driven by the glutes. The thorax follows. The arms are pulled through, not thrown. The sequence is correct. Impact: the head stays behind the ball. The hips have cleared. The club is approaching from the inside. And the ball flight with the 12 or 14 degree driver, the optimized graphite shaft, and the correct angle of attack looks like this. This is what intelligent golf after 55 looks like. Not power efficiency, not force precision. Now I want to address something you might be thinking. This sounds great, but will it really make a difference? Or is this just another set of tips? Let me put numbers to this. A senior golfer at 83 miles per hour of driver swing speed, playing a 9-degree driver in steel regular flex, carries the ball approximately 196 yards. That is the before. Same player, same swing, new 12-degree driver, senior flex graphite shaft, positive angle of attack achieved through the setup changes, new carry distance. 222 yards, 26 additional yards, no change in fitness, no change in technique, Only optimized equipment for your physics. 26 yards. Think about what that means on the course. Approach shots with shorter irons, more greens in regulation, fewer bogeys from the rough. Lower scores, more enjoyment. More rounds played because your body isn't fighting equipment that was never designed for it. That is what the strategic swing exists to give you. Not magic, not false promises. Science applied to your reality. Now, the critical test for many golfers watching this. What if you're not sure about your current shaft flex? What if you've never had a club fitting? Here is a simple self-test you can do right now. Go to a driving range with your driver. Hit 10 shots focusing only on one thing when the club face reaches impact. Does it feel like the shaft is too stiff to load? If the shaft feels rigid and you're losing shots to the right, that's your signal. The shaft is too stiff for your swing speed and you're not getting the whip through impact. And even better, don't guess. Get the fitting. I've put the link to the Club Champion location finder in the description. It takes 45 minutes and changes your equipment forever. Your challenge for this week. 3 things. Do all 3 before your next round. Number 1. Check your driver loft. Find the number stamped on the hosel. If it's 9 or 10.5 degrees and you're below 90 miles per hour, you have your first answer. Number 2. Check your shaft material, steel or graphite. Steel shafts are silver and metallic. Graphite shafts are dark, usually black or charcoal, with a subtle fiber texture. Number 3. Book a fitting. I've put the link in the description for Club Champion, the fitting network used by tour professionals and serious amateurs. 45 minutes. I also want to mention 2 additional resources in the description that are completely free. The TPI article on why clubhead speed drops with age, written by their lead researchers, goes deeper into the Type 2 fiber research I covered today. It's in the description. And the TrackMan Optimal Launch Conditions chart, also in the description, lets you input your specific swing speed and get the exact loft recommendation for your numbers. Now I want to ask you something. How many years have you been playing with the wrong equipment? How many hundreds of rounds have you left distance on the table? Those rounds are done, but every single round from this point forward is yours to optimize. And it starts today. If this video gave you something useful, and I believe it did, subscribe. Hit the button. We publish every Tuesday and Friday. Always science-based. Always built specifically for golfers over 55. Always specific enough to use the day you watch it. Thanks for watching.